Most of these cases are, for instance, focused on the unlawful data collection practices, specifically for biometric data. For instance, very recently, we saw that the Colombian DPA sanctioned Mercado Libre, which is a huge platform, online marketplace. It's also known as like the Amazon of Latin America. And it was sanctioned because it was found that it was requiring users to provide biometric data to access their accounts. So definitely we're seeing the Colombian DPA is particularly concerned with this type of data collection practices, and particularly speaking for such sensitive data as biometrics. We have also seen that Argentina, Mexico, and Peru, they all have open investigations into WorldCoin. Here, DPAs, or what we're seeing is that they are particularly concerned with the collection of, again, biometric data, in this case, the collection of iris, in exchange for economic compensation. So what we're seeing from their preliminary findings is also the authorities being very, performing a lot of interpretation on what is truly informed consent or valid consent, specifically considering that in some of these cases, the collection of biometrics from minors was involved. Minors were able to basically get economic compensation in exchange of their biometrics because of how it was designed, how the service of WorldCoin was designed in these cases. Also, we're seeing that regionally, through the Ibero-American network, they are creating some sort of working groups where they are basically trying to coordinate investigations among the member countries of this network. One of the working groups is specifically focused on WorldCoin processing practices, so we can expect a lot of more movement in this way. But they also created other groups that will focus on enforcing data protection laws on other key areas, such as biometrics, neural rights, and digital violence. Another key topic is the processing of children's data. I would say this is a very popular one. Currently, for instance, Brazil has 2 open investigations which are related to the potentially unlawful processing of children's data. One investigation is against a local edtech platform, and the other is against TikTok. On TikTok's case, just to mention very briefly, the ANPD has preliminarily found that the platform offered inadequate age verification mechanisms and improper data processing practices, specifically for minors' data, which under a Brazilian law would be anyone below 18 years of age. And as a consequence, in Brazil, TikTok was ordered to suspend some of its activities, including the unregistered feed option that they have, which basically allows users to view content or view the feed from this platform without registering for the app. So a lot of concerns there related to the processing of children's data. And another one is the processing of personal data for AI training. Here, we also have some preliminary investigations that are ongoing from Brazil's ANPD. One is on Meta, and the other one is on X, formerly Twitter. Here, similar to the TikTok investigation, the Brazilian DPA has preliminary ordered X and Meta to stop the processing of personal data from minors for AI training purposes. But also, after some of their initial findings, the Brazilian DPA ordered Meta to stop processing activities altogether until it made significant changes to the privacy policies. And just if I recall correctly here, some of these changes included to properly notify users that their data would or could potentially be used for AI training, and providing them with the right to opt out in a very clear and easily manner. I think I'm probably not quoting literally, but they said the process to opt out of this processing had to involve very few clicks. And so it is important to mention that all of these cases are preliminary. They're still pending. But I believe that they will be very relevant because some of like the core aspect of these cases lie on using the legitimate interest of the company as a lawful ground for processing personal data in the context of AI training. So I think once these cases resolve, we will have like a more clear picture on how companies can use this hypothesis or this legal base for processing in the context of AI, which will be particularly relevant.